They didn't just lose you, they lost the very foundation holding their world together. And now? Now they sit in the ruins of their own arrogance, choking on the very air they once breathed so confidently, realizing too late that you were the source, you were the light, and they were nothing without you. They laughed when you struggled, mocked your ambition, convinced themselves that cutting you off, pushing you away, replacing you with someone better was the right move. They fed off the illusion that you were the weak one, that you needed them. But illusions don't last forever. Reality always catches up. And now, as the dust settles, they're left staring at the truth. A truth they tried so hard to avoid. You were never the weak one. They were. They were only winning because they stood in your light. They were only thriving because they were feeding off your energy, your blessings, your presence. You weren't lucky to have them. They were lucky to have you. And the second you walked away, the second you removed your energy, your loyalty, your divine protection from their life, that's when everything started to crumble. Look at them now, pretending everything is fine, desperately trying to hold it together, watching their plans backfire, their connections dry up, their paths suddenly filled with obstacles they never saw coming. They thought they could keep winning without you, thought they could maintain the success, the peace, the effortless flow of blessings. But what they never understood is that you weren't just another person in their life. You were the reason things were working in the first place, and now they can't run from the consequences. The universe doesn't play games with the chosen ones. It doesn't let ungrateful people walk away with blessings they didn't earn. It doesn't reward those who betray, use, or underestimate its chosen. No, the universe takes back what it gave. It strips them of the advantages they didn't appreciate. And right now, as they sit in silence, watching you move forward while they sink deeper into regret, they are feeling that loss in ways they never imagined. They'll never admit it, never say out loud that they made the biggest mistake of their lives. Their pride won't let them. But the truth? It's written all over them. In their tired eyes, their restless minds, the chaos that follows them everywhere. Because you took the stability with you when you left. You took the favor. You took the very thing that kept their world from falling apart. And the worst part? They can't get it back. They can beg, they can fake apologies, they can stalk your progress from the shadows, but it doesn't matter. Because when a chosen one moves on, the door closes permanently. The same universe that once gave them everything through you has now turned its back on them. And that is a punishment worse than anything you could ever do to them yourself. Before we go deeper, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop 77 in the comments. Every time you react, it signals YouTube that more chosen ones need to hear this message. The more you rise, the more they watch in regret. And trust me, they are watching. Number 1. They let go of gold, thinking it was just sand. They thought they were discarding something worthless, brushing off just another person. But what they really did, they threw away the rarest thing they'll ever have. And now, as everything around them collapses, they finally understand. They let go of gold, thinking it was just sand. They swore you were nothing special, just another face in the crowd, replaceable, forgettable. They convinced themselves that losing you was no loss at all. But time has a way of forcing people to see the truth. And now, as they struggle to piece their life together, they are confronted with a brutal realization. It was never them, it was always you. Some people never appreciate the value of something until it's gone. They don't recognize the light while they stand in it. They take warmth for granted until they're left in the cold. And that's exactly what happened here. They thought they were making the right move, thought they were trading you in for something better. but all they did was strip themselves of the very thing that kept them standing. Think about all the legends, the greats, the icons. How many of them were overlooked, underestimated, discarded before their greatness was undeniable? Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the very company he built. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television, but the people who rejected them, the ones who underestimated them, they had to sit back and watch as the very people they dismissed went on to define history. And that's exactly what's happening now. The ones who threw you away thought they were making a winning move, thought they had you all figured out. But now, as they struggle to find that same energy, that same magic, that same success they had when you were in their life, they're realizing the truth. You were the foundation. You were the gift. You were the reason things worked in the first place. Now they sit in silence, wondering why things aren't the same, why the opportunities aren't flowing the way they used to, why the peace they once had has been replaced with chaos, why the people they replaced you with never quite measure up. And deep down, they know. Because here's the truth. They weren't just rejecting you. They were rejecting the blessing that came with you. The energy, the wisdom, the vision, the alignment you brought into their life. They thought it was them, thought they were winning on their own. But now that you're gone, now that the universe has withdrawn its favor from them, they are beginning to understand that what they lost was priceless. You were the golden ticket, the rare opportunity, the blessing they couldn't see because they were too busy chasing illusions. They let go of something irreplaceable, thinking they could find another. But there is no other. You are one of one, and they will never, ever find that same power in someone else. And the worst part, the universe doesn't hand out second chances when it comes to a chosen one. They can beg. They can replay their mistakes in their heads 1,000 times. They can search for a replacement until the end of time. But what's lost is lost. You are no longer within reach. They thought they were the winners, but in reality, they played themselves. And now, as they sit in the wreckage of their own arrogance, there is only one thing left for them to do: watch you rise. Number 2. They didn't leave you. They left the blessing that came with you. They thought they were walking away from a person. They had no idea they were walking away from their own blessings. And now, as everything in their life spirals out of control, they finally understand. They didn't just lose you, they lost everything that came with you. They believed they were making the right move, thought they had better options, thought they could upgrade. In their mind, leaving you was a strategic decision. But what they failed to realize is that when you remove a chosen one from your life, you don't just lose a person, you lose favor, you lose protection. You lose the unseen forces that were working in your favor simply because you were connected to the right energy. They thought it was their own intelligence that opened doors, thought it was their charm, their skills, their luck that kept them winning. But now that you're gone, those doors aren't opening like they used to. That luck isn't hitting the way it did before. The same opportunities they thought they could keep without you vanished. Because what they never understood is that you were the reason things were flowing in the first place. The universe doesn't play games when it comes to its chosen ones. It doesn't sit back and allow ungrateful people to benefit from divine favor. It doesn't let those who betray, dismiss, or take advantage of a chosen one continue to thrive. No, the universe withdraws. It pulls back the blessings. It removes the protection, and suddenly, everything that once felt effortless for them now feels impossible. Look at them, scrambling, struggling, wondering why nothing seems to be going right anymore. They'll try to convince themselves it's just bad luck, try to blame everything and everyone but themselves. But deep down, they know. They know the second they let you go, the light left with you. It's always the same story. They reject the chosen one, thinking they can do better, thinking they don't need that energy in their life. But once they step out of your orbit, once they remove themselves from that divine alignment, they realize nothing feels the same. The connections they thought were solid, falling apart. The people they surrounded themselves with after you, empty. The doors that once opened for them so easily, slammed shut. Because those doors weren't opening for them, they were opening because of you. You see, the presence of a chosen one isn't just about the person. It's about the divine force that walks with them. The universe moves in ways most people don't understand, and when it places favor on someone, that favor extends to those around them. As long as they remain aligned, as long as they stay close to that energy, things flow. But the moment they turn their back, that favor disappears. History proves it. Look at the people who doubted greatness before it was fully realized. Look at the ones who rejected visionaries before their success became undeniable. The people who doubted Tesla, the ones who turned their backs on Einstein, the industry that laughed at Oprah. Where are they now? Forgotten. While the ones they underestimated went on to change the world. And that's what's happening right now. They thought walking away from you meant freedom, meant elevation. They thought they were making a move that would benefit them. But now, as they sit in the mess of their own choices, as they watch you rise while their own life crumbles, they are realizing the brutal truth. They rejected the very thing that was keeping them afloat. And there is no coming back from that. The universe doesn't allow people to walk away from a chosen one and still keep the blessings that came with them. It doesn't work like that. What's lost is lost. They will try to recreate the energy you brought, try to replace what they once had, but no matter what they do, no matter who they turn to, it will never be the same. Because chosen ones are one of one. You cannot duplicate divine favor. So let them sit in the consequences. Let them replay every moment, every choice, every mistake. Let them drown in the realization that they didn't just lose you, they lost everything that came with you. And that is a pain they will never escape. Number 3, they thought they were winning, but they were walking into their own downfall. A fool celebrates too early, not realizing the race isn't over. They thought they had it all figured out, thought they were making the smartest move, that walking away from you was an upgrade. They laughed, they mocked, they convinced themselves that you were the one losing out. But here's the thing about arrogance. It blinds people to the reality that's coming. And now they sit in the very mess they created, forced to watch as everything they once celebrated turns into nothing. They really believed they were winning, thought their new connections, their new plans, their new circle meant they were leveling up. But what they didn't see, what they refused to see, was that their so-called win was just the beginning of their downfall. Because when someone walks away from a chosen one, they aren't stepping into something better. They are stepping into their own destruction. Look at them now. The same people they ran to, failing them. The same paths they thought would be easier, dead ends. The same life they swore would be so much better without you, falling apart in real time. Because here's the truth they never wanted to admit. You were the backbone. You were the reason things flowed. You were the energy that kept everything stable. They thought they were running toward a future full of success, full of effortless wins. But in reality, they were running straight into quicksand, and the more they try to act like they're still winning, the deeper they sink. They can fake the smiles, they can post the pictures, they can pretend all they want, but the truth always reveals itself. And the truth? They bet against the wrong one. It's always the ones who leave too soon who learn the hardest lessons. The ones who think they've outgrown you, who think they're stepping into something bigger, who celebrate before the real results come in. But life has a way of humbling people. It has a way of making sure those who act out of arrogance, out of greed, out of impatience, pay the price. History has seen this play out over and over again. Look at the athletes, the artists, the visionaries who were doubted, who were rejected, who were left behind by the very people who swore they didn't need them. How many times have we seen someone cast aside only for them to rise even higher while the ones who left them faded into irrelevance? Look at Michael Jordan, cut from his high school team only to become the greatest of all time. Look at Steve Jobs, pushed out of Apple only to return stronger and turn it into an empire. The pattern never changes. The ones who are underestimated always end up on top. And the ones who walked away, they always end up wishing they had stayed. But here's the part that stings the most for them. You never needed them to lose. You weren't plotting revenge. You weren't hoping for their downfall. You were simply focused on you. And that's what makes it worse for them. Because while they were out there thinking they had escaped, thinking they had won, you were busy building, growing, evolving, and now, as they sit in the wreckage of their own choices, they have to watch you rise. And that is a level of pain they will never escape, because now they know. Now they see the truth they tried so hard to deny, that all along, the only thing they were really running from was their own blessing. The race isn't over, and they celebrated too soon. Now they are forced to sit in silence, drowning in regret, knowing that while they thought they were stepping into their future, they were actually stepping into their own demise. Number 4. The absence of a chosen one leaves a void nothing can fill. Some losses can be replaced, some gaps can be filled, but when a chosen one leaves, the emptiness is permanent. And no matter how hard they try, they will never find another you. They really thought they could move on without missing a beat, thought they could erase you, replace you, forget you like you were just another name on a long list of people they could cycle through. They convinced themselves that life would feel better without you, that things would still run smoothly, that the energy would still flow, that success and peace would still follow them. But now they wake up every day to a reality they never expected, one without your presence, without your power, without your protection. And no matter what they do, no matter who they try to bring in to fill the space you left, it's never the same. They never thought this would happen, never thought your absence would matter this much, because they took you for granted. They assumed your energy was just a bonus, not the foundation holding everything together. They assumed that what they had with you wasn't rare, that they could find it anywhere, that you weren't as important as you actually were. But life has a way of teaching hard lessons, and this is the kind of lesson they will never forget. Look at them, going through the motions, smiling on the outside, but feeling that hollow emptiness underneath it all. They try to convince themselves they're fine. They try to act like nothing has changed. But the truth is eating them alive, because everything has changed. The rooms they walk into don't feel as light. The conversations don't feel as deep. The wins don't feel as fulfilling. The people around them, they don't bring the same energy you did. They don't uplift, they don't inspire, they don't carry the same favor that followed you wherever you went. And now they feel the void. They thought they were leaving a person behind. What they didn't realize was that they were walking away from a force, something divine, something rare, something that doesn't just exist anywhere. They assumed the presence they felt around you was something they could find in someone else. But now, as they cycle through empty connections, as they chase after temporary highs, as they struggle to fill a space that only you fit into, they are realizing the truth. You were never replaceable. People always assume that chosen ones are easy to come by, that just because they didn't recognize your value, someone else will step in and take your place. But what they don't understand is this: chosen ones are not common. Chosen ones are not interchangeable. And once a chosen one is gone, they are gone forever. Look at history. Look at the people who were once surrounded by greatness but never appreciated it. Look at the artists, the visionaries, the revolutionaries who were doubted, discarded, overlooked, only for the ones who rejected them to spend the rest of their lives regretting it. People never think it will be them, never think they will be the ones sitting in regret. But time always reveals the truth. And now, as they sit in the life they thought would be better, as they go through their days pretending they don't feel the weight of your absence, they know they messed up. But here's the part that will haunt them the most. There is no fixing this. They can't undo the choices they made. They can't go back and suddenly appreciate you the way they should have. They can't make the universe reverse its decision and place you back in their life. What's lost is lost, and no matter how much they wish they could take it all back, it's too late. They thought they could remove you and everything would stay the same. But instead, they created a void so deep, so permanent, that nothing in this world will ever be able to fill it. And that is a reality they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. Number 5. Now they watch from the sidelines, hoping you'll return. They swore they didn't need you, acted like losing you was nothing. But now, as their world falls apart, they sit in silence, secretly hoping, praying that one day you'll come back and save them. But the universe doesn't move backward, and neither do you. They would never say it out loud. Their pride won't let them. They still put on a show, still act like they're fine, still pretend that everything is going exactly as planned. But behind the forced smiles, behind the empty distractions, behind the fake confidence, there's only one thing running through their mind: regret. They never thought it would feel like this. Never imagined they would be the ones left behind, watching from the sidelines as you rise, as you evolve, as you step into your power without them. They thought walking away from you was a victory, thought leaving you behind meant moving forward. But now they see the truth. They weren't walking into a better future. They were walking straight into their own downfall. Look at them now, stuck, watching your every move, obsessing over your progress, keeping tabs from the shadows. They try to act like they don't care, try to act like they've moved on. But the moment your name comes up, the moment they see you thriving, they feel it. That sharp pang of regret, that gut-wrenching realization that they bet against the wrong one, because they thought you would break without them, thought you needed them to survive. But instead, you flourished, you leveled up, you became everything they once doubted you could be. And that is their worst nightmare, because now they are forced to sit back and watch, knowing they will never be part of your success. They secretly hope you'll come back, that you'll throw them a lifeline, that you'll reach out and offer them a way back into your world. They tell themselves that one day you'll realize you need them, that you'll miss them enough to look their way again. But what they fail to understand is this: chosen ones don't return to what broke them. Chosen ones don't go backward. When a door closes, it stays closed forever. And the universe? It makes sure of that. The same universe that once allowed them to benefit from your energy has now locked them out. They thought they could leave and still keep the favor, still keep the blessings, still keep the opportunities that came with being connected to you. But what they never realized was that those blessings were never theirs. They were yours. And now that you're gone, that divine favor, gone with you. Now their life feels different. Something is missing, something they can't quite explain. The peace isn't there anymore. The excitement is gone. The effortless flow they once had has been replaced with struggle, and no matter how hard they try, no matter how many distractions they chase, nothing feels the same. Because nothing is the same, they lost you, and with you, they lost access to the energy that once made everything work. And the worst part, they know they can't fix it. They can't undo their mistakes. They can't turn back time. They can't erase the fact that when they had you, they didn't appreciate you. And now they have to live with the consequences. And those consequences will haunt them forever. They will keep watching, keep hoping, keep waiting for a chance that will never come. They will replay every moment, every choice, every miscalculation in their head, trying to figure out where they went wrong. But deep down, they already know. They lost something rare, something irreplaceable, something divine. And now they sit on the sidelines, forever spectators to a life they will never be part of again. Number 6. Everything they touched is crumbling because you were the foundation. They thought they were the architects, the masterminds, the ones in control. But the moment you walked away, the truth became clear. You were the foundation holding it all together. And now they stand in the ruins of their own arrogance, watching everything collapse around them. They really believed they had the upper hand, thought they were making the smarter move, convinced themselves that walking away from you, pushing you aside, or betraying you wouldn't have any consequences. In their minds, you were just another piece of the puzzle, one they could replace, one they could do without. But what they failed to see was that you weren't just a piece of the puzzle. You were the frame holding it all together. Now, everything they once built, everything they swore would thrive without you, is crumbling faster than they can hold it together. The connections they thought were strong, falling apart. The relationships they thought were solid, full of cracks. The success they thought would last forever, slipping through their fingers. And the worst part, you didn't even have to do anything. The universe doesn't reward betrayal. It doesn't allow those who mistreat its chosen ones to walk away and still hold on to the blessings that came with them. When they turned their back on you, when they discarded you like you were nothing, they weren't just losing you, they were losing everything you brought with you. The stability, the vision, the divine favor that kept things flowing. And now they are living with the consequences. They thought their plans were foolproof, thought they had outsmarted you, outmaneuvered you. They smiled in the moment, confident that they would be just fine without you. But life has a way of humbling people. Because now, as they look around, as they try to pick up the broken pieces, they are realizing something they never expected. You were the glue holding it all together. It was never them. It was never their intelligence, their so-called connections, their ability to lead. It was never their influence, their charm, or their hard work. It was you, your presence, your energy, your ability to bring stability where there was none. You were the reason things worked. You were the reason things ran smoothly. And now that you're gone, the cracks are showing. Look at them. Desperate to hold things together, scrambling to fix what's already beyond repair. They don't want to admit it, don't want to say out loud that they made the biggest mistake of their lives. But deep down, they know. They can feel it, that overwhelming sense of loss, that sinking realization that they walked away from the very thing that was keeping them afloat. This is what happens when people underestimate a chosen one. They assume that their lives will continue the same way, that nothing will change, that they can remove you and keep all the benefits that came with your presence. But the universe doesn't allow that. The second they made the choice to betray, abandon, or dismiss you, they set their own downfall in motion. History has shown this over and over again. The people who rejected visionaries before they became legends, the ones who turned their backs on greatness before it was recognized. They all have one thing in common: they were left with nothing, while the ones they doubted went on to thrive, to evolve, to prove that they were always the foundation, always the key to success. And now you're rising. While they sit in the wreckage of their own mistakes, you are moving forward, stronger, wiser, unshaken, because unlike them, you never needed them to win. They needed you. And now, as they watch everything around them fall apart, they are left with nothing but regret. Let them regret. Let them struggle. Let them sit in the reality they created for themselves. Because the universe doesn't allow people to betray a chosen one and still hold on to the rewards. What's lost is lost. And now, the only thing they can do is watch as everything they once touched turns to dust. Because without you, there was never any real foundation to begin with. Number 7. They thought you needed them, now they see it was the other way around. Some people don't realize who the real source of power is until the lights go out. They thought they were doing you a favor by walking away, thought they were the prize, the asset, the one who brought value to the situation. In their mind, you were the liability, the one who needed them, the one who wouldn't make it without their presence, their approval, their so-called importance. But now that they've walked away, now that they've removed themselves from your life, they're seeing something they never expected. It was never you who needed them. It was always them who needed you. Look at them now, lost, struggling, stuck in a cycle of confusion, watching things in their life unravel piece by piece. They were so confident in their decision, thought that moving on without you was an upgrade. But what they didn't realize was that when they walked away, they weren't just leaving a person, they were walking away from their own source of power. Because that's what a chosen one is, a source of energy, a foundation, a force that transforms everything around them. When you were in their life, things worked. Opportunities showed up, connections flowed effortlessly. They were protected in ways they never even realized. And now that you're gone, everything is different. At first, they told themselves it was just a phase, just an adjustment period, that they would be just fine. But now, as they look around and see nothing but struggle, setbacks, and losses stacking up, the truth is becoming impossible to ignore. You were the reason things were stable. You were the reason things were flowing. You were the reason their life felt easy. And the worst part, they will never find another you. They thought they could replace your energy, thought they could surround themselves with new people, thought they could continue thriving without you. But replacements don't carry the same power, the same favor, the same divine protection that you brought into their world. Because what they never understood is this: the universe doesn't just bless anyone. The universe places favor on those who are aligned, those who are chosen. And the people who mistreat or discard a chosen one don't get to keep the blessings that came with them. Those blessings get revoked. And now they see it. They thought they were irreplaceable, thought they were the one in control. But as they struggle to navigate the mess they created for themselves, as they sit in the reality they thought they wanted, they're realizing the truth. You were the reason for their success. You were the energy behind their wins. You were the foundation that kept them standing. And you never needed them at all. Because look at you now, thriving, moving forward, becoming stronger, wiser, more powerful with every step you take. They expected you to break, expected you to fall apart without them. But instead, you're rising higher than ever, while they sink. That's the most painful part for them, watching you succeed without them, watching you become everything they once tried to convince you that you couldn't be, watching you win while they struggle to keep up. But here's the thing, The universe doesn't give second chances to those who waste their opportunities. They can regret, they can wish they had treated you differently, they can replay every mistake in their mind 1,000 times, but what's done is done. And now they are left with nothing but the weight of their own foolishness. They thought you needed them, but now, as their world spirals out of control, as they struggle to recreate the stability they once had, as they sit in the silence of their own regret, they finally understand the truth. You were the source of power all along, and without you, they have nothing. Number 8. No matter where they go, they'll never find another you. Some mistakes can be undone, some losses can be replaced, but letting go of a chosen one, that is a regret that lasts a lifetime. They didn't realize what they had when they had it, thought they could do better, thought there was something greater waiting for them elsewhere. They walked away, convinced that you were just another person, one of many, someone they could easily replace. But now they are waking up to a harsh truth. No matter where they go, no matter who they meet, no matter how hard they search, they will never find another you. At first, they didn't feel the loss. They convinced themselves that life would be the same, if not better, without you. They distracted themselves, surrounded themselves with new faces, tried to pretend like your absence didn't shake them. But slowly, reality started creeping in. The conversations didn't feel the same. The energy wasn't as powerful. The people they replaced you with, shallow, temporary, lacking the depth, the wisdom, the power that you carried so effortlessly. And that's when it hit them. What they lost was irreplaceable. They thought you were common, thought they could go out and find someone just like you. But what they failed to understand is that chosen ones are one of one. There is no second version of you, no copy, no alternative. You were the rarest thing they had ever come across, and they threw it away like it was nothing. Now they are searching, looking for your energy in someone else, hoping to recreate the feeling they had when they were connected to you. But the universe doesn't work like that. The universe doesn't hand out second chances to those who take divine gifts for granted. And they are feeling that now. They'll try to tell themselves it's not that deep, that they're fine, that they made the right decision, but every time they look into the eyes of the people they replaced you with, every time they try to connect with someone new, every time they reach for the energy they once had, they are met with emptiness. Because the truth is, you weren't just another person in their life. You were the best thing they ever had, but they didn't see it, didn't value it. And now, as they look around, trying to make sense of why nothing feels the same, why nothing seems to fulfill them the way it once did, they know they lost something they can never get back. This is what happens when people take a chosen one for granted. They assume that your value is something they can find elsewhere, but they don't realize that when you are aligned with the universe, when you carry divine favor, when your energy is rare, your presence is a gift that can never be replaced. Look at history. Look at the ones who were doubted, discarded, underestimated, only for those who rejected them to live in permanent regret. How many stories have been written about the people who walked away from greatness before they realized what they had? How many times have we seen the ones who abandoned something rare spend their entire lives trying to find it again? It never works, because some losses are permanent. Some decisions come with no reset button, no second chance, no undoing the damage, and losing a chosen one, that is a mistake that haunts forever. Let them regret. Let them search. Let them live in the reality they created for themselves. Because the truth is, you never needed them. They needed you. And now, no matter where they go, no matter how far they run, no matter how much they wish they could turn back time, they will never find another you. Number 9. The universe is teaching them a lesson they'll never forget. You don't get to mishandle a chosen one and still keep the blessings that came with them. The universe doesn't work that way, and now every closed door, every setback, every sleepless night is their reality, because the lesson must be learned. They thought they got away with it, thought they could walk away, betray you, underestimate you, and still live life without consequences. They laughed, they celebrated. They thought their decisions had no weight, no repercussions. But what they didn't understand is that the universe sees everything, and it never lets injustice go unchecked. At first, they didn't notice the shift, thought everything was still going their way, thought their opportunities would still flow, their success would still grow, their luck would still carry them forward. But now they're beginning to feel the weight of their actions. The same doors that once opened effortlessly for them, now slammed shut. The same people who used to support them, now distant, uninterested, unavailable. The same luck that followed them, the same opportunities that seemed to show up out of nowhere, gone. Because here's what they never understood: it was never them. It was never their charm, their intelligence, or their so-called talent that brought them favor. It was you. It was the divine presence that surrounded you, the unseen forces that protected you, the blessings that extended to those in your orbit. And when they chose to mistreat you, when they chose to throw you away like you didn't matter, the universe made its decision. They don't get to keep what they didn't appreciate. Look at them now, struggling, confused, wondering why everything that used to come so easily is now slipping through their fingers. They thought they had life figured out, thought they were untouchable. But now, reality is setting in. They played themselves. Because the universe is just. It doesn't allow chosen ones to be mistreated without consequences. It doesn't sit back and let ungrateful people continue to thrive off energy they don't respect. No, the universe takes back what it gave, and right now, they are feeling the full force of that retribution. They can't run from it. They can't escape it. The lesson has begun, and it will not end until they fully understand what they did. Until they feel what it's like to be on the other side, to be left out, to be overlooked, to lose things they thought they would always have. And the irony: they thought you would be the one to suffer, thought you would be the one struggling, lost, desperate for their approval. But instead, you are thriving. And they are falling apart. This is what happens when people think they can take advantage of a chosen one and still walk away with clean hands. The universe doesn't work like that. Look at history. Look at the ones who doubted greatness before it was undeniable. The ones who mistreated legends before the world knew their names. Every single one of them ended up regretting it. Every single one of them had to sit in the pain of knowing they lost something irreplaceable. And now that's exactly what they're going through, because the universe is making sure they never forget this lesson. They will remember the doors that used to open effortlessly. They will remember the favor that once followed them. They will remember the sense of security, the flow of opportunities, the ease of success. And they will feel every single loss as the universe takes it all back, piece by piece, until they have nothing left but regret. Because some lessons don't come with a second chance. Some mistakes can't be undone. And walking away from a chosen one with arrogance, with disrespect, with entitlement, that is a mistake they will regret for the rest of their lives. Number 10. Watching you rise without them is their worst nightmare. They expected to see you crawling. Instead, they have to watch you fly. They thought you would collapse, thought you would drown in regret, struggle in silence, and eventually come crawling back. That's how much they overestimated their importance. In their minds, they were the key to your success. They were the reason things worked for you. They were the ones who held all the power. But now they're sitting in the same place they left you, expecting you to be broken, only to look up and see you standing taller than ever. Not just standing, thriving, moving forward with a force they can't understand, growing into a version of yourself they never saw coming. And that is their worst nightmare. Because the one thing people like them can't handle is seeing you win without them. It shatters their illusion, destroys the false sense of superiority they held on to for so long. They wanted to believe that you needed them, that without their approval, their support, their validation, you would crumble. But instead, you became unstoppable. And now they sit in silence, watching you from a distance, knowing deep down they made the biggest mistake of their lives. Because the truth they never wanted to accept is hitting them harder than ever. They weren't the reason for your success. They were the reason for your delays. Every day they wake up, every move you make, every milestone you reach is another reminder that they bet against the wrong one. That while they were busy expecting you to fail, you were putting in the work. While they were waiting for you to break, you were building something stronger than they could ever imagine. Now they're stuck watching you rise while their own life remains the same. They tried to convince themselves they were better off without you, tried to act unbothered, pretended they didn't care. But the reality, it's eating them alive. Because here's what they didn't expect. You didn't just move on, you elevated. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You became smarter, sharper, more disciplined, more powerful. And while they were wasting time, watching, lurking, hoping for a downfall that never came, you kept climbing. And that is the pain they will never escape. It's not just that you're winning, it's that you're doing it without them. It's that they are completely irrelevant to your success. It's that their absence didn't hold you back, it set you free. And now they have to sit with that truth, knowing that while they underestimated you, they were only fooling themselves. They thought their absence would be your downfall, thought that once they left you would struggle, would break, would realize that they were the ones holding things together. But instead, the opposite happened. The second they were out of the picture, things started working in your favor. The universe started aligning things for you in ways they never could have imagined. And now they are the ones struggling. They thought leaving you behind meant leaving you in the past. But instead, they're stuck in the past while you move toward the future. The same people who doubted you, who laughed at you, who expected you to fail, now have to watch from the sidelines, knowing they can never be part of what you're building. And that is their karma. Because the universe has a way of humbling those who doubt a chosen one. It has a way of making sure that the same people who expected your downfall are forced to watch your rise. And no matter how much they try to ignore it, try to downplay it, try to act like it doesn't bother them, it does. It burns them from the inside out. They thought losing them would break you, but instead, it freed you. And now, their worst nightmare has become reality. You don't need them. You never did. Number 11. By the time they realize the truth, it's too late. Some mistakes can be undone. Some losses can be recovered. But walking away from a chosen one, that's a decision that locks the door forever. And by the time they realize it, all they can do is stand outside and watch you rise. They thought they had time, thought they could leave, explore other options, chase illusions, and come back when they felt like it. In their mind, you would always be there, waiting, still open, still available. They believed they had the luxury of returning when it was convenient for them. But the universe doesn't operate on their time. It doesn't cater to arrogance, indecision, or entitlement. When someone chooses to walk away from a chosen one, there are no second chances. They assumed they could hit pause on their connection with you, place you on a shelf while they entertain distractions, and pick you back up later as if you were just another option. But chosen ones don't work like that. You are not a backup plan. You are not something to be revisited when all else fails. You were the blessing, and when they discarded it, they discarded everything that came with it. And now they realize. They see the truth they were too blind, too foolish, too arrogant to recognize before. They see that you weren't just another person in their life. You were the foundation, the key, the gold they mistook for dust. But realization means nothing when the door is already shut. They try to reach out, try to find ways back in. Subtle attempts, indirect messages, fake concern, random check-ins. But deep down, they know. The energy is not the same. The access they once had, gone. The path they thought would always be open, sealed. Because the universe doesn't give redos when it comes to chosen ones. Once someone decides to betray, abandon, or underestimate a chosen one, they don't get to change their mind when they realize what they lost. That's not how divine favor works. And this is where their real suffering begins. Because regret is a slow poison. It seeps in over time, creeping into their thoughts, invading their peace, haunting their quiet moments. They will replay it in their mind. How they walked away so easily, how they assumed they had something better waiting for them, how they convinced themselves you weren't that special. And now they know they were wrong, but it no longer matters. They see you moving forward, thriving, becoming everything they once tried to downplay. They watch you step into your power, and the realization sets in like a weight they can't lift. They will never have access to you again. And that's what will haunt them the most. Not just the fact that they lost you, but the fact that they lost themselves in the process. Because they are not the same person without you. The blessings they once had, dried up. The protection that followed them, gone. The energy that once surrounded them, dissipated. They try to fill the void, try to replace you, try to recreate the feeling they had when you were in their life. But every attempt is a failure. No one carries the same energy. No one brings the same light. And that's when they truly understand what they have done. But it's too late. Because while they sit in their regret, while they drown in their own foolishness, while they long for a second chance that will never come, you are gone. You have moved forward. You have evolved. You have stepped into a version of yourself that they will never get to experience again. And that is a punishment worse than anything you could have ever done to them. They thought they had time, thought they could play with fate, walk away, and return when they felt like it. But chosen ones don't wait. Chosen ones don't beg. Chosen ones don't keep doors open for those who slammed them shut. By the time they realized the truth, the door was already locked. Forever. Number 12. They were never fighting you. They were fighting destiny. When you go against what the universe has ordained, you don't just lose, you get erased. They thought they were battling you, thought their resistance, their sabotage, their betrayal was enough to stop you, but they never realized you weren't moving alone. Every step you took was guided. Every obstacle you faced was already accounted for. Every attempt to block you was destined to fail before it even began, because their battle was never with you. It was with the force that chose you. And that's a fight no one has ever won. Look at them now, struggling, fading, becoming irrelevant while you rise untouched. The universe doesn't allow interference with its chosen ones. Those who try always end up destroying themselves. They thought they could stop what was already written, thought their opinions, their doubts, their betrayals carried weight. But destiny doesn't ask for permission. And now Now they're living in the aftermath of their own arrogance, realizing too late that they were never in control. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to fight back, because the battle was never yours to fight. And now, as they fade into nothing, one truth remains. You were always meant to win. And that's the truth. They were never fighting you. They were fighting something far greater, something unstoppable. And now, as they sit in the wreckage of their own downfall, watching you rise beyond their wildest fears, they finally understand: destiny doesn't lose. If you feel this message, claim it. Like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to confirm you're stepping fully into your power. Share this with another chosen one, because the more we rise, the more unstoppable we become. The universe has already chosen you. Now it's time to walk in that power unapologetically.